All right, next up we have a movie that has like 60 fucking titles. Okay, it doesn't have 60. That's this huge exaggeration, but I remember when this movie was originally coming out, it was called All You Need Is Kill. And then it was called Edge of Tomorrow. And then it was called Live Die Repeat. And now it's called Live Die Repeat The Edge of Tomorrow. So it's like, what in the fuck is going on with this? It was like a marketing thing. They could never get this thing properly marketed, and so they tried to like re-release it with different titles so it would trick people into watching it again. And I don't know why, because the movie's freaking fantastic. But no one ever wants to take a risk on new properties. They talk about how drained Hollywood is of ideas and there's nothing ever original and unique. And now, granted, this isn't a unique storyline. Yes, it's a Groundhog's Day type action film, but if you were to actually watch it, it very much is its own thing. It plays by its own rules. It, takes some risks. It's different. The only issue I have with the movie, and this is something I'm not like completely opposed to, I don't hate it by any means. I just would have rather it was a more, not downer ending. They still win. So, yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see one where they don't win at all, but that's fine. I'm fine with them winning. But the happy ending where he wakes up and he gets to be with the girl and everything, I don't know. That seems a little forced. Like, I just feel like the way the movie's set up, like when he kills the Omega and he's floating down there and Blunt is dead, and he's dead, and that should have been it. That should have been the end of the movie. But Rita and Cage get to live on, and that, okay, sure. But anyway, all right, so let's talk about the movie. All right, so a very interesting opening because Tom Cruise's characters are usually the most skilled, the most badass guys ever. And here's this dude who's like the poster child of the war. He's going out and he's selling these mechanical suits and he's promoting them and telling everybody how awesome they are. And, he got X amount of soldiers to sign up to the army to put their lives on the line for their country. And, they can sell war all day. But when it's like comes time for them to get into that war, when it's like, all right, well, we're putting you at the front lines. It's like, wait, what? No. I'm not going to fight in the war. Like, I'll get a bunch of people to go fight for it. I'll make you things for the war, but I'm not going. And it's like, oh, no, you're going. And I love that. I love that. I don't like war of any sort. I don't think we should ever have it. I think it should be the last resort. And even after that, like, war should just not be a thing. In modern modern 21st century, we should not be so angry with one another and so at odds with one another that we actually resort to wars, that we actually resort to genocides, that we resort to all the horrible atrocities that we commit throughout the world. So, but that all being said, the only thing that I do respect about older wars is that the generals and the captains and the lieutenants and all these guys actually fought in the war. They had their leaders, the people who started these wars, were there on the battlefield. And then one day they were all like, well, we're strategists and we're in charge, so we better protect ourselves. And it's like, yeah, how convenient. How convenient. The wars you're fucking starting, the wars that you're pushing, you're gonna stay home, you're gonna be safe, you're gonna be protected by multiple guards. Like, fuck that. You want to start a war, you better damn well be in it. How about this? How about the leaders, instead of sending millions of people off to their death? All these young kids that don't even know what they're fighting for. They just think they're being patriotic. How about instead of that, the two leaders that started this shit, how about they just, lock them in a cage, and whoever lives through it, their country, wins the war. It just, I don't know. It's always so stupid to me. Human beings are really dumb. They really are. the whole war thing. Like, I just don't see how either side is so stupid that they want to have mass casualties on either side, both sides, to prove whatever nonsensical point they have. Like, oh, it's to defend other people, or it's to defend our beliefs, or it's to defend our land, or it's to defend our. That's always what it's framed as, but it's horse shit. It's horse shit sold to the masses. But anyways, I know I'm not trying to get political here, but I just thought it was interesting how this opens up with this guy who's like selling war to people, and then when he's like forced to be in it, he's like, well, wait a minute, I don't want to be in it. And it's like, you better get your ass over there. You want to sell shit to the big boys, you better play with them. So he's thrown into the war, and he's told by his J Squad or whatever that he's a deserter and he's a liar and did not believe a thing he says. So of course he's already put into a situation where no one wants to listen to him. And then what happens throughout the movie? Of course, no one's going to want to listen to him. And then he goes and he gets dropped into this battleground pretty much as a death sentence. Like, I feel like the dude who sent him there pretty much sent him there to die. Like, he had no chance. He had 1 day of training, which he didn't even know how to take the safety off of his gun. That's how little trained he was. And then they're throwing him into some epic battle against alien creatures that are just the most insane villains I've seen. Like, these things are extremely unfair. They're so fast. They're so strong. They're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous foes. So this is a death sentence. It's like, yeah, you're pretty much just take him there, drop him there, and let him die. Which, that's kind of fucked up. Like, you should, if you're going to force him to be there, I mean, at bare minimum, give him a fighting chance. Jesus Christ. I mean, that's murder pretty much. And then, yeah, I mean, and then he dies, which we got Bill Paxton in this, which with Bill Paxton, it's always great to see him, but it's always like, God, I wish we had more Bill Paxton in this movie. That's the way I feel at the end of even a movie he stars in. I feel like I'm not getting enough Bill Paxton. But then he kills one of these things, and he gets the blood covering him, and that gives him the power. I have the power. So he can repeat the day, so on and so forth. And he then meets Emily Blunt's character here, which Emily Blunt is a beautiful woman. I mean, a fucking gorgeous woman. But I have to say that I think this is the sexiest that she's ever looked in any movie I've seen her in. That, like, they do it multiple times, and I think they picked that particular shot because it was so fucking sexy. But like that, where she's on the ground and then she like leans her back up, and and her muscles are all toned, and she's got like glistening from sweat and all. Damn, that's not a scene that I was upset seeing like 7 times. It was, wow, absolutely just so sexy. And of course, she's awesome in this. She's awesome in everything. And so, yeah, I mean, throughout the movie, of course, they connect, and there's some kind of a romantic entanglement in here. And do they end up together? Like, after this whole thing goes down? Now, the ending of this movie, this is why I'm saying, because I don't feel like it plays within the rules of the film. Like, the Omega is killed, but it's killed before the events of when he even got the powers in the first place. Like, because this movie, and it takes him back to the time where he wakes up, but when he kills the Omega, he goes back even further than that. So, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, he went back in time, but further back in time than he's ever been. And after he died, while not having the power, but he got the new power, but somehow it was still dead. Like, it would have made sense if he would have got the power and it would have taken him back to 2 days prior and it would have started all over and the Omega was still alive. But the fact that Omega's dead and he goes back to before he even started doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like it ignores the rules set up in the film. So, and as I said, the happy ending, I feel like it's only there to give you the happy ending. Like just him dying and floating off and her dead and all that, and then like kind of credits, like patriotic death kind of thing, just wasn't, maybe testing well with an audience. So they changed it. I just don't feel like it works. Am I alone in this? Like, as I said, I feel like as ridiculous and fantastical as the plot and all of that is in the movie, it's still still the rules that we have set up. So he shouldn't go back to before the event even took place. This just doesn't make sense to me. The amount of times he has to die in this, I mean, we're talking years of his life. I mean, yes, he gets to start from that day and live his life. Would you be afraid of death after this? Like, yeah, I mean, he's afraid of death because he thinks he's going to fail, like once he runs out of lives. And I think that's a really cool part of the movie, is that they give him the blood transfusion and it's like, oh shit, you fucked me. What did you do? Now we only have one shot at this and I've died 1,000 times. And that was when I already knew most of the moves leading up to it. This is something where I don't know any of the moves. So our chances are extremely slim. And, of course, a movie, so they always pull it off. Another movie that features keys in the sun visor, Terminator 2 thing. They do this in so many movies that I just can't help but keep asking, like, does anybody actually put their car keys up in their sun visor? Does anybody actually do that? I've never, ever in my life seen anybody do it unless they're like a film fan and they're doing it as like a joke. I've never seen it done by anybody. So this whole checking in the sun visor thing, is that a thing? Yeah, I gotta stop recording these reviews at like 2 a.m. But it's the time I have, man. And I can't stop the yawning, and I do one takes. It's, and yeah, I mean, it takes a full day every time. Like, he has to go through pretty much a full day most of the times to get to that war to the beach where he relives probably 80% of his time. Now, yes, there's plenty of times where he goes and he's training with Rita and she like shoots him on, and that's the day before and all that. So like, he has to wake up, he has to go and do all this shit, go to sleep, wake up, go to the battlefield, get on the plane, go down, and then learn one extra move, 1 extra second. And then actually remember that and every other thing that he has to remember. And what if you forget it? And what if you get confused and you're like, shit, all right, I got to do this again. And then you go back. I mean, you're talking, this could happen thousands and thousands and thousands of times. What if you have a shitty memory? Like, these movies always bank on someone having the most amazing memory ever. But I guess, I don't know, if you were to live the same thing. If I see a movie like 3 times, I remember every damn line from it. So I guess maybe I would be good in this scenario. But that all being said, remembering absolutely every single little detail, when it's this important, it kind of reminds me of like Happy Death Day to You, when she's having to like remember every number up on that board. And I'm like, damn, man, they were really banking on this person having an incredible memory. And then Emily Blunt's character here, she admits that the man she loved, she lost and had to watch die over 300 times. And I feel like, freaking Cage in this movie is going to be like, well, I'm falling in love with you and I've watched you die 1,000 times. So I got one up on you. So I can feel your pain here. The whole like I can't get you past this moment thing, and then he tries to do it without her, and he's just like drunk and doesn't even give a shit anymore. Like I feel like I would have been there a while before. All the different avenues they explore in this, all the different ways he tries to get around this, all the different tactics that he uses. I think that's great. It's not just like one after the other of the same thing, and then it just gets progressively better throughout. It's like, no, this failed. All right, let's move on to this thing. All right, that failed. Let's move on to this thing. And they're like trying different tactics throughout. And then to the point where even in the last 30 minutes, he loses the power completely, and has to just risk it all while knowing if he dies, that's it. And once you got used to dying and coming back, it would be kind of hard to just go back to a level where like, holy shit, I can't die. Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of already. Fuck! You can't stop the yawns. Like when they start coming, it's so annoying. I was like trying to hold it back, and you just can't do it. It's so annoying. But this is a great science fiction action film, man. I've said before in the past, like Tom Cruise has made one bad movie in his career that I've seen, and that is The Mummy. Outside of that, and I've seen 95% of his films. There's only a couple movies I haven't seen, but I've seen pretty much everything he's ever done, and the guy just picks incredible stuff to work on. So this is yet another one. And highly, highly recommend it if you're an action science fiction fan. Of course, I already ruined everything for you, but regardless, you knew it was a spoiler discussion. But if you're a science fiction action fan, Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, All You Need Is Kill, even has like, it's weird because on the disc, on the thing here, it says like Cruise Blunt, and then Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, all is like one thing. It even says it down here, like on the cover. It says Cruise Blunt, Edge of Tomorrow, but like Live, Die, Repeat up here, as if this is like the tagline. But then, like, it's so weird, man. And on the side of it, it's called Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. Like, what? Just pick a title, man. Just pick a fucking title. But yeah, there you go. Have you seen it? Do you like it? You a Tom Cruise fan? You a hater like most people? I don't know. Let me know. Adios.